Hi, it's me, Brooke, if you're new here and you don't know me. This video, which I'm sure you guys have already seen by the title, I am letting my Instagram followers choose my next reads from my fall TBR, which if you don't know what my fall TBR is, you can go watch the video before this one and you can see all the books that I plan to read this fall time. So I'm very excited. The list that I did or the 3 books that they'll be voting on for today, I'm hoping that I get my results in by tomorrow because I'm going on a plane to Texas, which is like a 4-hour flight. So I want to make sure that I have books picked so I can read. I have As Old as Time, which is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I have The Unmaking of June Farrow, which I'm not 100% sure what it's about, but it's about June Farrow. So I have that one. And then I have, what was the third one? Oh, A Crown of Chains, which is like the Book of Esther from the Bible, like a retelling kind of fairy tale version of that one, fantasy. So I'm really interested in that one. And I have them all on my Kindle already, so I'm just waiting to see what people vote for. And then, yeah, because I couldn't choose, because I just finished a really good book called Pax, The Journey Home. So it was book 2, and I don't know what to read now after that. So yeah, okay. I'll come back when I have the results, but don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram so you can interact in videos like this in the future. Okay guys, so I finished As Old as Time, and remember I read this because it was the one that was picked for me to read. And I read it on my Kindle, but I have a physical version of it that I've had forever, and I feel kind of guilty that I didn't read it physically, but that's not the point. Gosh, I finished it earlier today, and I have so many feelings and thoughts about it that I'm just, I don't know what my rating is. I originally, when I was reading it, was like, you know what? This is a 5-star, like it's so good, but I was not happy with the ending, and the ending just really brought it down for me to the point where I'm like, is it a 3.5? I think it's a 3.5. I'm not sure if it's a 4-star or a 3.5 at this point, because I did like a lot of elements of it, but looking back at it, there's some things that so, you know, whatever editing Brooke decides, that's the rating. That's what this book gets. So there's my review. But overall, I think this book was written so cool. The style of writing was so unique, and just not even just unique, but it was so descriptive and so well done. And I'm the type of person who can't really visualize in my brain what I'm reading, so I really go off of like, I try to grab as many descriptive words as I can, and also a lot of like the emotions of how things are, and that really helps me, because it's almost like when I read, the pictures kind of like faint, kind of hazy in my mind. I know some people can read and like visualize really like a movie. I'm not like that, so I appreciated this book. I was able to picture some things, and I don't know, it was a really cool take. You kind of start off with the first half, which is like the typical Beauty and the Beast story that we know. You know, you have Belle and taking the place of her dad, and the cell, and the Beast, and all the characters and all those things, but we don't spend too much time like explaining those things because we all know it. But then you have Belle's parents' perspective in some of the chapters, which are very important to the story, and I found them to be like probably the most interesting part of the whole story, and it was just a really cool take on everything, so that was really fun. And seeing that side of things was really crazy. So my knees are hurting because I'm on my knees. 1 second. So yeah, the Belle's parents' perspective was something really cool, and also Belle and the Beast's perspective. I also think that their relationship in this is a lot, not different, but you see a different side to them than I think that you do in the other books, and it's just, if you're reading it, you're a book lover and you love to read, and you get to see Belle's love for books too, which you can like relate to, and that's really cool. But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on it. I thought there's a lot of cool elements. I think the author, Liz, did a really good job with a lot of aspects in this, and yeah, I don't know, there's just, the ending was really awful, and I wish I could spoil it, but I'm not going to. But if you read it, you'll understand why I just did not like the ending, and I did not find the ending to be happy. It was like semi-happy, like an almost happy ending, if that makes sense. Just wasn't what I was looking for as a reader as I was going throughout it. I just don't think these were one of those books that needed to have a sad-ish ending. So yeah, other than that, the whole experience of reading it was really cool. It was just the ending that I didn't like. Clearly, you know, because I've said it several times. But yeah, okay, that's my thoughts on this book. Next up, you guys voted that I finish a novel love story instead of reading If I Run, which is, if you guys watch my TBR video, you'll know each book. But this one, so novel love story 1. So I have to finish that one, which I'm kind of glad that you guys voted for me to finish it, because I don't know why I was postponing my reading on it. I just was. So time to get back into a physical book. I've been on my Kindle for a while, so that might be why physical books seem difficult for me, because I've just been so used to the font being huge and now the font's tiny. So okay, so I am currently reading a novel love story, as you know. I said that last night, and I don't know. Don't know what to do. I feel like I'm not, and it's not really necessarily the book's fault. I just like I'm not in the mood for this right now. But because the poll said that I should finish this book before I move on, I'm doing it. But I don't know if I want to like soft DNF it, which would be like just don't finish it until further notice. But I don't know, I'm really trying, guys, but I just feel like the plot is there. There's a lot of good elements. There's a lot of things that I want to know, but there's just this, it's explaining things that I don't care about. Like I don't need to know this, so I don't know why we're spending 4 pages explaining this, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, is this a spoiler? I don't think this is a spoiler. But we know that the main character was in a relationship, and like the book starts with her like not in the relationship. And I feel like we're spending way too much time explaining her feelings about the past guy that I'm like, move on, honey. It's over. Like, you're currently stuck in a book town. Why are we getting these flashbacks? Like, I don't understand these flashbacks that are taking so long, and I don't really see the point in them. I'd rather it be a consistent plot of her in the town of her favorite series. And there's also just some things about, like, she likes to read books that I wouldn't read, like books that have spice and just that it doesn't talk about those things, but it's just like I can't relate to it, if that makes sense. And it also, like, it talks about her ex like vaping, and it's like a very casual thing, like it's, and I'm not for that. Don't vape, it's not good for you. But I just don't like that that's a quality, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? So I don't know, guys, I'm having a hard time, and I just want to get through the chapter that I'm on, because I just want to get back to the part of the story that I am enjoying, rather than being in the part of the book that I'm not enjoying. But I don't want to skip the parts that I'm not enjoying, because I don't know if they're going to be important to the story later, that if I skip over them, that it will mess me up. So reading this, I think that Elend's the problem. Just gonna say it. I don't know, I'm only on page 90, guys. But Like, I think the whole point is for me to feel bad for her and her ex and like everything that happened. Like, oh man, her ex, sad. But honestly, I'm just kind of like, yeah, he had a point. Like, it's not an ideal situation, and it is something that, yeah, he could have found out sooner, but it's also like, well, I don't know, I can't say that because it's spoiler, but I think that when you don't really like the main character of a book, you got a problem. So I don't really like the main character of this book, and it's a problem. Sorry to anybody who loves her. I just don't. And I think it's just because me and this character, like, there's no similarities in here other than we both like to read books. And it's bothering me just a little bit. So I'm gonna keep trying to read it, but we'll see. Okay, I take that back. Her ex is the problem. They're both a problem, but her ex is a problem. I'm flabbergasted. I take it back. She is not the problem. She has problems. Her ex is the problem. Everyone has problems at this point. I don't know. See, this is the problem with just falling in love with an absolute stranger. Whatever happened to being friends first? I think we've lost the importance of being friends with somebody. Books remind me of why I believe in Jesus. Because firm foundation in Christ. Books are just proof to me of when your foundation is not Christ, what happens. Sorry, my mom needed to come in. I'm taking off my brace because I think I'm good now. We're about to find out. But back to what I was saying, I just think that as somebody who is Christian and believes in Christ and has believed since I was a child, I think that reading books by people who don't know Jesus makes me just go, oh, like, that's why, like I can't view it without being like, well, that's why you need Jesus. Like, that's the solution. Your relationships suck because you don't know Jesus. You are acting this way because you are seeking validation rather than coming from a place of knowing that you are accepted and validated and loved. And so all these problems, I think, is why when I read books like this and the problems that are happening, I'm like, well, this is a problem because you're lacking truth. And that might sound harsh, especially because it's a book, but it's my thoughts, and that's how I feel about some books. There's some that like don't bug me as much because they're all problems that we all face, but I think certain problems like this only come from lack of truly knowing Jesus and having a deep relationship with him, which is expected from a book like this, of course. But that's just what I'm feeling right now. So I am, once again, still gonna finish this chapter. Okay, so I'm reading a novel love story, and I'm skipping over stuff, and not because it's necessarily bad, but because it's boring, guys. And there's a part of me that kind of wants to DNF it, but there's that other part of me that's like, I want to finish it. I want to give it its full shot because I want to have a solid opinion on the book that I can give you guys. But I'm struggling a bit here, and I don't know. I think I want to soft DNF it just to like stop it and pick it up later and maybe ask you guys to pick a different book. There's just some inappropriate stuff and like innuendos and just things that are not my cup of tea, and I'm not enjoying it. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep reading this chapter. Like I said, I'm only on like page 117, so I'm really not that far into it, but I want to finish this book. I do, but I also don't want to. So I don't know, guys. That's where I'm at with this right now. But I will let you know what I decide to do, if I decide to keep reading it, or if I decide to change my mind. I don't know, but that's where we're at with this right now. Okay, guys, so last night I finished a novel love story. So I'm gonna rate it. This is a difficult thing for me to rate and to talk about. I've never had an experience like this before with a book, and I knew going into it that there was people who had like very different opinions. Some people thought it was like really good, 5 stars, they loved everything, and other people were like really let down. I have never read an Ashley Poston book before, so I had zero expectation of her writing style, and the reasons I haven't read her books before is because I researched them and it said that they had spice, but when I researched this one, it said that it didn't nearly have as much spice as her other books, and that it was not that spicy at all. Some readers said it had like, to them, it was like no spice. So I went into it thinking, oh, this is gonna be like very bare minimum here, like we're good, like I will enjoy it. There was, and how do I say this, more spice than I like in a book, more romance than was necessary. I had to skip over a lot more than I would like. There was only like, I'd say like one scene, and I skipped over it. I don't even know, but I have a feeling it went to a lot further than I would prefer. So I skipped like 2 pages, I think, and like just picked up from where I left off. So for me, it was kind of let down in that area of things. Also felt very slow in the beginning, like we were just spending too much time dwelling on Eileen's past and not moving forward, and that to me was very upsetting. Like I get it, okay, like I don't know if this is a spoiler, maybe not, I don't know, but you just kind of spent a lot of time on her past love life, and I just wasn't that interested. So I really don't know what to rate this. At first I was like a 3 stars, and then I was like, ugh, but I don't know. I've never had this happen to me before where I was rather, I really liked it or I really hated it. There was never an in-between moment for me. It's just one of those things where I would not recommend this book to anybody. I wouldn't say, oh, go read a novel love story. I still really love the cover. The cover is so cute, and I love the concept, and the idea of the book is so great, and I did enjoy many parts, but I, like, just because there was so much icky stuff, it wasn't great. And another thing, which, as most of you guys know, if you've been following me long enough on here, I'm a Christian, and I love Jesus, and this book, reading from people's lives of a worldly perspective, like, people who don't have Jesus, it made me realize how much more we need Jesus, that Jesus is our hope, he is our joy, he is where we find our value, and all of those things that when you're somebody like Eileen who doesn't truly see her value, who is seeking like love and attention and all, like it's just this idea of like, wow, like if you just had Jesus, your problems would have been fixed. And it made me want to just like go out to people and like share Jesus more, which I guess is good. Just goes and show you how God can use anything that you read or watch or do, any hobby, to show him to you, share himself. Like if you're constantly seeking him, you will find him. And I think it was an eye-opener in a weird way that this book made me realize that, like, wow, like this is what life is like without him, and I don't want that. So anyways, that's just something that stood out to me. But anyways, so I am going to close off the video here because I know I said I wanted to do 3 books, but I feel like this video went on for kind of a longer time, and 2 was enough because I'm just gonna be starting a new book with some friends. We're doing like a little book club, and I want to make sure that I read it. We're gonna be reading, let me get it, I'm gonna be reading Us in Ruins. Isn't the cover so pretty? It's so pretty. It's by, who's it by? Rachel Moore. And I found her on Instagram actually, and I was like, oh wow, this cover's really, really well done and really pretty. And then I was like looking at her reels that were like sharing the concept of it, and I was like, this looks good. And I even actually DM'd the author and I asked her if the book had any spice in it, and or like, you know, what if it's YA, all those things. And she replied to me and let me know that it's no spice. So I'm excited. I won't be surprised like I was in this. So me and my friends are gonna read this one, and I will let you guys know my review on this one, but I'm very excited. So this is my next read. I thought I'd share it with you. Also, the hardcover is so pretty. I'll show it to you. It's like just white with like little speckles on it, but then the spine. Anyways, I'm very excited to read this. And look at this. Okay, I was looking for this. I got marble looking pages, and the dedication is so cute. It says, for anyone whose emotions feel too big, and for mom and dad who always make room for mine. That's so sweet. Anyways, so that's the read. That's what I'm gonna do. But thank you so much for helping me choose books to read and get me started in my fall TBR. If you haven't yet watched my fall TBR video, it will be in the description. And thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you next time.